What is up, you beautiful people? It is Friday, and you know what that means. We are partying out here, okay? We are going to be hopping into a 2023 fantasy football draft. Now, the question is, which one do we want to get in, right? We have so many different tournament options. Right now, you have the weekly winter tournament on Underdog, $15 buy-in. That's going to be weekly prizes, $20,000 for first place every week. Then you have Best Ball Mania, the largest tournament, $25 buy-in, $15 million prize pool. Slow Puppy, $5 buy-in, $500,000 prize pool. The Hound Dog, the Pit Bull, the Mastiff. I don't know if we've ever had this many Underdog drafts live at once. I think what we're going to do is probably get into the Hound Dog. That's going to be the new one they just posted. A $10 buy-in, $400,000 prize pool, $50,000 for first, $30,000 for second, $20,000 for third, all the way down the line. Let's go ahead and let's get into this. And it's filled immediately. Hopefully, this means that we get the 101. All right, never mind. We're not at one, okay? You know we're used to picking at one, but we'll make number 3 work. So we got an update with Cooper Kupp earlier. Cooper Kupp considered day to day. Better news than we previously had. And obviously, we have big news with Alvin Kamara that may change this draft board just a bit. I mean, we got in a draft the second the Alvin Kamara news broke to get an idea of where Alvin Kamara was now going to get drafted. But now people have actually had some time to let it settle in, right? People have actually had some time to think about the 3-game suspension and what it may mean. So yeah, let's see where Kamara goes in these drafts. But let me know if you're in this live draft with us, ladies and gentlemen. We got Saram out here, pick 8. Love to see it. We got Demonic Celery 102, third in the past 4 days. Love to see it. Salty Cracker says, first season on Underdog, which draft should I go into? I would highly recommend, if it's your first time on Underdog, my friend, you stick to the lowest buy-in tournaments possible. I would go to the $5 drafts, the $10 drafts, just have some fun, especially when they get the $3 drafts out there. What these are meant for is to have fun, to practice for your main fantasy football league this next season. So yeah, I wouldn't go anything crazy. Don't go and enter in like a $500 draft if it's your first season on Underdog. But Zachary in here at the 101. We got Ben in here at 11. DeMarcus in here at 5. Love to see it. Love to see it. And we will get in a few more drafts after this. We're going to go Tyreek Hill, pick 3. CMC goes 4. Cooper Kupp at 5. And Silver says, my Labrador Retriever is watching. Well, I have my Great Pyrenees laying under the desk, laying under our feet right now where I can't scoot up on this wheelchair or whatever it is. Miley, get up. Come on. Come here, baby girl. You want to say hi to everybody? Come here. Come on, get up here. I know, baby. I know you don't want to get up. Come here. Come here. She loves laying under my desk, and I hate it because I just can't work when she's under there. I know. I know. You're so cute. Come here. Come up here. All right, I'm going to move the camera so y'all can see her. Actually, that's going to be a big deal, but you just got to trust me on this one. I've got the cutest dog on the planet under my desk. I'll show her in the live stream later on when she gets up. When she gets up, you will get to see her later on. But Diggs goes 6, Kelsey, Eckler, Bijan, A.J. Brown. So I've noticed Cooper Kupp still falling to 5, 6, even with the report that he's now day-to-day. I mean, I got Cooper Kupp, I believe, in a live draft this morning, earlier at pick 7. But yeah, sadly, the dog's not having it. No, not right now. We'll get the dog up later in this live stream, ladies and gentlemen. But of course, later in this live stream, we will also be firing up some more fantasy football drafts. So if you want to draft with us later today, if you want to draft with us any night, we are drafting every single day on Underdog Fantasy. Have not missed a day in like 100. Not going to miss a day until 2024. And Underdog drafts are best balls to no time commitment at all during this season. That's how I drafted 700 teams and won $150,000 last year. And if you sign up to Underdog with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. You'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com. Underdog's also where they have all the player props that you're probably wanting to get for the season long. I would say my favorite one right now is Chase plus 25 receiving yards versus Devontae Adams. And this is where Underdog is available, ladies and gentlemen. You can pause it and see if it's in your state. But we are about to be back up on the clock here at the 2-3 turn. And let's see if we have anybody that we like making it to us. Let's see, ladies and gentlemen. Smith goes. What do we want to be doing at this point? We're going to go Jonathan Taylor, swing for the fences with the upside here. Keep in mind, this is a $10 buy-in, $50,000 prize pool. So we are highly incentivized to go ahead and make the risky selection, the quote-unquote risky selection that has a lot of upside. I mean, I just reacted to one of the drafts where we won $20,000 on Underdog last year. And in that draft, I started off Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley. And at the time, a lot of people told me it was super risky with both running backs coming back off of injuries. But we said that they had an elite level ceiling. That's what we wanted to be chasing. And that's what we're going to get here with Jonathan Taylor, even if he is quote unquote very risky with the uncertain situation heading into this next season. But Cody coming out with a donation. Thank you so much, my man. Says, Best Ball Mania draft. Quarterback, we have Cousins, Jones, Lance. You know I love to see it. Running back, we have Madison, Swift, Connor, Javonte, Fournette. Wide receiver, Jefferson Olave. Oh, I really like this. Not a super big fan of Ridley at pick 25, but nonetheless, London, Ayuk, Hyatt, Hodgins, tight end Irv Smith Jr., Cole Kmet, Juwan Johnson. I really like this team, my man. The fact that you're able to pair Jefferson and Olave is beautiful. I probably would have gone somewhere else personally rather than Calvin Ridley. I probably would have gone like Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen there at pick 25. But yeah, that's just me. Obviously, I'm an idiot. I could always be wrong. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take Josh Allen at pick 27. With Josh Allen, I mean, this is a quarterback that's had 3 straight seasons now as a top 3 quarterback from a points per game perspective. I understand Ridley has a crap ton of upside, but I don't know. Personally, I have a hard time passing on an elite level quarterback here in round 3. I mean, these guys just go with the 1-2 turn earlier this offseason. I said I would not take them there, but if they fell to the 3rd round, I would take them. And yeah, I'll be completely fine drafting Josh Allen at pick 27. And I understand, of course, there is risk with this team, right? I don't want to sit here and act like, oh yeah, I know. I mean, our team's going to be the best and it's not even going to be a question. No, our team could be the worst team in the league. That's 100% a possibility based off the Jonathan Taylor situation this next year. But at the same time, I'm trying to draft with that highest ceiling in mind. But Elijah coming out with a donation. Thank you. Says, picking first in an 8-team PPR league, 2 quarterback, 2 running back, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, and double flex. What's your strategy? So in general, if you're going to be in this 8-team format, you're going to be highly incentivized to go out there and grab an elite level tight end. But once you add in the extra flex spot, the extra starting wide receiver slot, that need is going to go down just a bit. What I would really like to do is I'd really like to grab an elite level quarterback if we can at the beginning of the draft, such as Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, or Lamar. But then honestly, because it's only an 8-team league and not a 12-team 2-quarterback format, you're in no rush whatsoever to grab your second quarterback unless you're able to go with 2 elite level guys like Mahomes and Jalen Hurts out the gate, depending on how the rest of your league mates treat it. But if all your league mates go like quarterback rounds 1 and 2, in reality, I would grab your elite level quarterback out the gate and then wait until later on in the draft, because if everybody drafts 2 quarterbacks, they're probably going to be done drafting QB for a while, and it's only an 8-team league. You'll for sure be able to find someone like Geno Smith later on. Now, Breece Hall, Jahmyr Gibbs going off the board at 36-37. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with y'all. I have the worst chest pain like ever right where my heart is. I ran like 11 miles today. I'm hoping that I'm okay, but yes, please, if I pass out on the live stream, get some help, okay? Get me some help. My chest is not feeling the hottest. But now, Travis Etienne going off the board, pick 40. Okay. Yes, and I know, sounds very, very healthy. The healthiest it can be. MD says, just joined in. I see you're doubling down on JT. You better believe I'm taking the upside. I'm taking the upside of JT here. Okay. Okay, says, sounds like exercising is bad for your health. Yes, you better believe it is. Now, Irv coming out of the donation, thank you, says, 8th pick in a 10-team snake redraft league, basic format. Would you go Kelsey and then Mahomes quick in the second, or pair Kelsey with a stud wide receiver or running back? If it is going to be a 10-team league where you're only starting 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and a flex, I am 100% down for you deciding to go ahead and go Kelsey, Mahomes in the first 2 rounds. I'm not a big proponent of that on Underdog in particular, because Underdog, you're going to have that extra starting wide receiver slot, and it's going to be very difficult for you to find wide receiver value later on. But if you're playing in that, say, 10-team league where you are going to be able to find wide receiver value later on, then go ahead and go for it, my man. Okay. Now we go Mike Williams, 47. Kurt off the board, 48. Okay, obviously I'd really like taking Justin Fields here. I do think that Fields is the best value, but in general, when we go Josh Allen, we probably don't want to be a double tap in the quarterback position as early as the 5th round. So instead, we'll take TJ Hawkinson. I understand Hawkinson's been falling a considerable amount in these drafts, and as Hawkinson falls, I'll probably continue to draft TJ Hawkinson. Now, I think Hawkinson's even more appealing for a team that takes Josh Allen, because I am going to be trying to grab Gabe Davis at either pick 70, 75. So the possibility of going both Kyle Pitts and Dallas Goedert is going to be out the window for us. So let's go Hawkinson. If one of those other tight ends make it to us, we can go with the bully tight end strategy if we want. If not, we can decide to go ahead and just grab Gabe Davis and who else? Who knows? Who else? Okay. Now, Aaron Jones off the board, pick 53. The Hood says, Hawkinson falls, I'll be there to pick him up. 100%. I'm there with you, my man. I will be there with you, picking up the TJ Hawkinson value. Okay. Deontay Johnson off the board, 55. Now, Saram gets Justin Herbert to pair up with Eckler, and then you have Kenneth Walker falling all the way down to 57. Kenneth Walker going after JSN, after Deontay Johnson. I really like that Kenneth Walker value as well. I really do. Okay. Now Hollywood goes pick 60. NRG says, Mason, how many teams do you expect to optimize their lineups with 2 quarterbacks in top 5 picks? So I've had the argument in saying, okay, well, maybe we want to go ahead and take Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow on the same team, blah, 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 because if Jalen Hurts were to go down and miss a large chunk of the season, and I can sneak him into the overall fantasy football tournament by having that extra QB, maybe it's going to give us a unique edge compared to the rest of the field. But I have noticed a considerable amount of people going with like Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow, or Josh Allen and Justin Fields, or Mahomes and Burrow, or Mahomes and Fields. So I do think that there is a percentage of the field that's going ahead and doing it. If there was nobody at all doing it, you better believe I would be, but I don't know exactly how unique of a strategy it is. Now, Jordan coming out says, hey, Cutie, in ESPN standard 12-team draft, in the 9 spot, is Bijan Saquon first round, then Chubb on the turn to play? Thanks, love you. No, thank you so much, my man, for coming out. Hell yeah. I think if you can go Bijan, Nick Chubb through the first 2 rounds, if it's going to be just a traditional redraft format, especially ESPN standard league, and slam wide receivers in the middle rounds, I would love that, my man. I would love it. NRG says, I think it's very bad. I think it's bad from a median projection standpoint. I think that there are very unique situations where it could be good in, but only if none of the rest, only if you're the only person doing it, if that makes sense. If there are other people in the field doing it, and you don't have the unique edge in the 5% of outcomes where it's actually advantageous, then I don't know. There have been some teams where I've taken like Allen and Fields together. Very few. Damian Pierce goes, I think we're going to go ahead and take Michael Pittman. We have Taylor, so we're making a bet on Indianapolis. Maybe Taylor plays there. Gabe Davis is the guy that we want on the way back around at pick 75. Now, by no means is it guaranteed that we get Gabe Davis on the way, but I do think that it's a definite possibility considering the fact that the majority of the time that Gabe Davis goes here at ADP, the reason is the Josh Allen team is taking him. So we don't have to worry about the Josh Allen team taking him because I am the Josh Allen team. So I think we can get a little bit creative here and try to have a unique pairing of both Pittman and Gabe Davis in this tournament. Torsten says, if you try to bully quarterback strategy at the 2-3 turn, that's something that I won't do. I'm not going to go Allen and Mahomes. I think there's no way in hell that going QB, 2-3 turn makes it reasonable. Yeah, so we're going to get Gabe Davis here in round 7. Exactly what we were looking for, right? I mean, I know a lot of people think that they need to reach on their stacks. In reality, in a lot of these drafts, you're actually able to have stacks fall to you just because if you look at how ADP lines up, generally ADP lines up with these key stacks. So that's just the perfect example of us rolling the dice, seeing if we can get both guys that we are looking at. And we do. Obviously not going to work out every single time, but when it's a $10 buy-in, $50,000 prize pool, you better believe that we are chasing that upside, which we get here. Now, Johnston, Darren Waller go immediately after us. I really like our team. Obviously, everything hinges on Jonathan Taylor being okay this next season. If Jonathan Taylor is not, then I am toast, and I'm the first person to admit that. But it is what it is. It is what it is. And Brandon asking, what about a team like Hurts and Deshaun Watson / Trevor Lawrence? That more reasonable? 100%. I think you can get away with going like what that team does at 1 by going Mahomes at the 2-3 turn, then Lawrence at the 6-7 turn. The opportunity cost of taking Lawrence there is nothing crazy. I think you can get away with that. There's a big difference between going like quarterback in round 3, quarterback in round 6/7 versus going quarterbacks in rounds 2 and 3, right? Now, got a donation coming out that says, should I play Metcalf over Gibbs in my flex, or should I trade Jacobs and Metcalf for Higgins and Chubb in an ESPN league? I don't necessarily worry about our starting lineup right now whenever it's August. In general, I think you just want to have the best construction as well as just having the players we're most excited about. So I'm not going to sit here and say who we should be starting in the flex when it's August 4th. But I will say I would trade Josh Jacobs and DK Metcalf for T. Higgins and Nick Chubb. If you look at my rankings, you'll see that I have Nick Chubb ranked over Josh Jacobs, and I have T. Higgins ranked over DK Metcalf. So I think you're getting an upgrade of both running back and wide receiver there, my friend. Okay. Now we have Kamara off the board, 85. Kamara would have made it to us in 94. Obviously, it's a no-brainer selection, right? I think Alvin Kamara honestly probably ends up not going here at the beginning of the 8th round. I think he honestly probably ends up going about in the middle to the end of the 7th. Like where you see Javonte Williams, DeAndre Swift go 79, pick 80. I think that's where Alvin Kamara eventually rises to. Okay. Let's move this over. Sky Moore off the board, 92. Interesting to see Sky Moore is still going ahead of Kadarius Toney. Isaiah Pacheco off the board. We're going to take Dalvin Cook, very similar with our selection of Jonathan Taylor. Obviously, there's a lot of uncertainty with this Dalvin Cook pick, and I'm going to be the first person to admit it can be horrendous, right? Like there are so many situations where taking Dalvin Cook here, I mean, right before someone like Antonio Gibson is just straight up bad. But I don't know. What if Dalvin Cook ends up going to Miami? What if it actually happens? If Dalvin Cook goes to Miami and he ends up being a top 12 running back in fantasy, that's how you turn $10 into $50,000, you know? So it is what it is. It is what it is. Now, Evan Ingram off the board, 96. This is the team that has Mahomes. The Mahomes team decides to pass on Kadarius Toney. I'm not even going to take Toney. I'm going to take someone that y'all know in years past I was not a big fan of. Yes, we called Courtland Sutton the worst pick in fantasy football drafts last year. We mocked people relentlessly that went out there and said out loud that he was the next Cooper Kupp. Yeah, after Cooper Kupp led the NFL in receiving yards, receiving touchdowns, and receptions, when Courtland Sutton has never posted a top 24 wide receiver season from a points per game perspective. But now you have Sean Payton coming over. On top of this, you have, more importantly, the Tim Patrick injury and KJ Hamler question marks. I know they're supposed to bring KJ Hamler back on, but as of now, KJ Hamler is not with the Denver Broncos. So for those reasons, I actually don't mind at all to go ahead and take Courtland Sutton. Like Courtland Sutton around 9 this year, when he's in a better situation than he was a year ago, is so much better than when he was going in round 3 last season. But Emmett coming out with a donation, thank you, says 12-team keeper, pick 2, Fields, Kupp, and Olave. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to keep Kupp as well as Chris Olave, my friend. I really do like Justin Fields from a fantasy football perspective, given the rushing upside. But I don't know. I mean, I think Kupp and Olave are both wide receiver 1s this year. Okay. Now, Thomas goes immediately after pick 100. Kadarius Toney finally off the board, 103. Yeah, we called Kadarius Toney the worst pick in fantasy football drafts this season when he was going in round 6. But that was when he was going before Mike Evans. That's when he was going before Michael Pittman. Now, if you're getting Kadarius Toney after pick 100, if he's going after Cortland Sutton, Michael Thomas, Jameson Williams, this is a completely fair price point, and I will draft Kadarius Toney at this price. Like, I'm sorry to be a flip-flopper. I flipped from Sutton, away from Sutton last year to, I guess, now we're drafting Sutton if he's going in round 9 with no Patrick. And I'm sorry to flip-flop on Kadarius Toney as well, but there's a big difference in having to draft him over Mike Evans versus having to draft him over Tyler Boyd. Okay. Now, Bijan Robinson goes pick 106. Now we have a couple QBs going. I don't want to say too much until we're on the clock. I have a couple different ideas on what we can do here. Alessandro says, Michael Thomas is the best wide receiver of all time. No, I'm not coping. I know we've talked about this before. I know a lot of people like Michael Thomas this year, but my thing with Michael Thomas is the last time he was a good wide receiver, we did not know what COVID was. That's how long ago it was, ladies and gentlemen. That's how long ago it was. Now, Odell Beckham Jr. off the board at 112. Trevor coming out with a donation. Thank you, my friend. Says 10-team dynasty PPR, 2 running backs, wide receivers, and flexes. Would you trade Jacobs and Evans for Kupp and Montgomery? Other running backs would be Henry, Hall, Akers, and James Conner. I think all pieces associated in this deal are actually contending assets. I don't think you want any of these pieces if you're a rebuilding team. And yeah, I'd probably go Kupp and Montgomery here. I'd probably take the guy that has the highest ceiling. Alan says, Terry thumbnail. Love it. Yeah, you know we had to go ahead and take Terry McLaurin here. Yeah, you know we did. Okay. Terry McLaurin thumbnail, so we got to take Terry McLaurin in the draft. That's how it works, ladies and gentlemen. That's how it works. Daniel Jones going 115. Nico Collins. I've noticed Geno Smith falling a considerable amount. Like, I've definitely noticed Geno Smith falling in these drafts. Jake says Geno's getting drafted way too low. Hell, I've drafted Geno in a couple drafts today in the 11th. We don't have any Seattle Seahawks, so I'm going to make a disgusting selection of Samaje Perine. Samaje Perine's another player we made fun of people for drafting at a much earlier price tag than this. I mean, if y'all remember, there were people that were drafting Samaje Perine before Alvin Kamara earlier this offseason. I only have Perine in like 1 to 2% of drafts. I feel like if we're ever going to mix him in, probably on a team where we need a running back, where at the same time, I mean, I guess we can set ourselves up with a Denver Broncos stack. Jamal goes, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Elijah Mitchell as well. I actually really do like Elijah Mitchell this year. And that with Elijah Mitchell, it's a running back that should have some usable weeks, even with the healthy Christian McCaffrey. But if CMC were to go down to injury, we've seen Elijah Mitchell be a running back 1 in fantasy before. Like, Elijah Mitchell averaged 100 total yards per game as a rookie. So I'm completely fine with the selection at 123. And now you can see on Underdog right now, they are projecting Elijah Mitchell to have a role. They have him at 575.5 rushing yards in comparison to Christian McCaffrey, who they have at 865.5 rushing yards. So they have the rushing volume for both backs actually being comparable. Okay. Nick says Mitchell's my most drafted player this year. I thought I had him as one of my most drafted guys, but I went through our most drafted running backs earlier today, and he wasn't inside the top 7. I need more of him. And y'all should listen to Nick. Nick won the puppy tournament on Underdog last year, which was a $5 buy-in, $75,000 for first. Okay. Now, Kincaid, Greg Dulcich both go. What I'm personally kind of hoping for would be nice to get Russell Wilson on the way back around, considering the fact we have both Sutton and Pirine. Would be nice to see. We just hit 300 likes on the live stream. Thank you so much for everybody going down there and dropping a like in the stream. Really do appreciate it. Geno Smith makes it to 126. Rodgers goes 131. Goff off the board 132. Okay. Rashee Rice off the board. It's going to be interesting if we don't take a quarterback or a tight end anytime soon. If we end up having to take 3 of a single position. I would rather not. I'd rather go 2 QB, 2 tight end. Okay, Jalen Warren off. Did the Jerry Jeudy team pass on Russ? It looks like the Jeudy team passed on Russ. We're 1 pick away from pairing up Russ with Sutton and Pirine, my favorite players in the world. But Ryan says, what's Chubb worth in Dynasty? A future first? Yeah, I'd say Nick Chubb's worth about a 2024 first in a Superflex format. But, I mean, the worst thing you could ever do is trade away your 2024 first in Dynasty, then end up having a garbage team that turns out to be the 103. And all of a sudden you traded away Marvin Harrison Jr. for who will be a 29-year-old running back next year. So be very, very careful selling your 2024 first for Nick Chubb if you're in Dynasty. Not saying you can't do it, but I'm just saying be very careful if you are going to do so. All right, now where are we going after this? I really like our team, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like we don't really have any soft spots. We're only going to take 2 quarterbacks now that we have Josh Allen and Russell Wilson. Nick says, never thought I'd see the day Mason drafting Sutton and Pirine on the same team. Neither did I, my man. Neither did I. Now, I think we're going to go tight end here because if we go tight end, I think we have the flexibility to maybe not have to draft another when we have Hawkinson and then take another tight end in round 13. I do think we have some flexibility as well where if we really wanted to, if we find a value at tight end later on, we can go with the third option. But there are no running backs or wide receivers that stand out to us, right? Like Miller is someone that I'm a lot less excited about now that you have only a 3-game suspension for Kamara. But Overcome coming out with a donation. Thank you. Says, not liking where I land in a 10-team format. Pick 3 into the second round. Jacobs, Adams, Hall, Pollard, Wilson, Higgins are all there usually. After taking Chase 75% of the time, my best option seems to be then Wilson, Olave. If you have Adams, Wilson, Olave all available to you there at the 2-3 turn, I think that there's a chance that you get one of those wide receivers on the way back around in the third. So what I may actually do is I may actually go ahead and just take Tony Pollard, get the running back, and then assume that you're going to get one of the wide receivers on the way back around. Whether that's Adams, Garrett Wilson, or Chris Olave. But JN mad that we did not take Roshan, my man. We'll take some Roschon in some other drafts. Maybe our next draft we'll get a little Roschon Johnson in here. Brian says redraft 18 PPR format with a half point per carry. If it's half point per carry, all you do is draft running backs. That's all you do. What strategy should I use to make my team unique while still contending? You need to go ahead. You need to draft a running back out the gate. If it is a half point per carry format, running backs are going to take up such a high percentage of your starting lineup output on a week-to-week basis that you need the studs and you also need the depth at the same time because you need to start running backs in your flex spot every single week. Every single week. You don't want a wide receiver in your flex. So if it's a half point per carry, grab the elite level running backs, take them early, take them often, and also look for a quarterback that's going to run the football, such as Lamar Jackson or Justin Fields. Vendor says Bijan or Diggs, pick 7 in a non-PPR 10-team format. Non-PPR, you're going to be more likely to push up running backs and move down wide receivers. I would go Bijan Robinson over Stephon Diggs. Okay. NRG says, Mason, have you been drafting best ball in any other? You really got to ask me that, my man? Come on. You know I'm a company man. It's the craziest question I've ever received. Dear God. Okay. Now, Mostert, Matthew Stafford, both off the board. The pick I'm about to make, I have a funny explanation for. I don't want to say it's a good explanation. But we're going to take Kenneth Gainwell. The head coach in Philadelphia showed up to a press conference with a Kenneth Gainwell shirt on today. All right. That's our analysis with this pick. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Okay. Reed goes 167. Madiv coming out with the donation. Thank you so much, my man. Thank you. Thank you. If you have a question, please ask in the live chat. I'd be super happy to answer, my friend. I can't see any questions from you. Okay. Like I said, I thought when we went Hawkinson in the second year tight end in Tennessee, we left ourselves with the flexibility of possibly going with the third tight ends. I'm actually not even going to do it. We're going to go Curtis Samuel. We're going to go Curtis Samuel. We have Terry McLaurin, so maybe we can make a consolidated bet that the Washington passing offense is maybe better than people expect, or maybe Dotson goes down. There are a couple different ways that this could work out. But yeah, let's take Curtis Samuel. I like him at this price point, and I don't know. I mean, there are a couple different tight ends that I think we can look at on the way back around. I'll talk about thought process a little more in depth later. But wide receiver now, we have Tyreek, McLaurin, Pittman, Gabe Davis, Cortland Sutton, Curtis Samuel. Running back, we have Jonathan Taylor, Dalvin Cook, Samaje Perine, Elijah Mitchell, Kenneth Gainwell. Quarterback, we have Josh Allen, Russell Wilson. Tight end, we have TJ Hawkinson, the year 2 tight end in Tennessee. But the Tech Review Lab says 10-team keeper league. Are we keeping Jalen Hurts in the 5th or Devonta Smith in the 9th? I would say if it's only going to be a 10-team format, there you should be able to find a wide receiver value later on. And also, I mean, a 5th round pick is not going to be much. I mean, the difference between a 5th and a 9th round pick in the keeper format is not large. So if the opportunity cost isn't there, we're just going to go ahead and take Jalen Hurts, my friend. But Taysom Hill finally off the board, 178. Okay, I've never had this pain before, so maybe I'm being a little dramatic, but if like my heart is hurting and I never take ibuprofen or anything, is that what ibuprofen's made for? Can I take ibuprofen? Like my chest just feels really like pressurized, like tight. Is ibuprofen going to help that? Steve says take an aspirin. Aspirin. Okay. All right. Everybody's saying aspirin. All right. Let me text a girlfriend. I don't even know if we'll have any aspirin. Okay, we are going to now get sniped on Dawson Knox. So a big reason why we passed on Taysom Hill is I thought there was a small chance if we passed on Taysom, gave him to a team after us, that we could get Dawson Knox on the way back around and pair up Dawson Knox as well as Josh Allen. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. Ferguson off the board, 187. Pickett goes 188. Is this ibuprofen or aspirin? Aspirin. Everybody said aspirin. Do we have aspirin? Okay. Do you mind giving me more water? Thank you. All right. Well. Oh, crap. We're on the clock. We're going to panic pick Jalen Hyatt. Who cares? We're going to go Jalen Hyatt. We know we need another wide receiver. I don't necessarily know if we need what else we need. I know we need a wide receiver, minimum. I think we probably want to take an 8th. I don't know. I feel like our team's good everywhere, great nowhere. I don't necessarily know if we can take a third quarterback. I don't know if we can take a third tight end. I don't know if we can take a 6th running back. I don't think our team has too many quote-unquote needs. I just don't think our team is great. 193. Now that happens, we're going to go ahead. We're going to take a tight end here. Thank you. It's okay. Thank you. Demonic Celery. I think we're either going to go Gesicki or Hayden Hurst. Can everybody spam the chat? Actually, y'all don't even get to choose. We're going Hayden Hurst here. And then I'll let y'all know who we take in the last round. But instead of waiting for that, let's just go ahead and hop into another draft. It's going to be the Hound Dog draft, ladies and gentlemen. $10 buy-in, $50,000 for first place, $30,000 for second. Y'all know the drill. This just dropped yesterday. And let's get in here, ladies and gentlemen. And we have a couple donations to answer as this fills up. But Joshua says, what's up, Mason? Love the content, bro. I'm here at 4. What are your thoughts? I am so damn sorry. Let me see if I can get my phone to look at your team, my man. I am sorry about that. Don't know if you're paying attention, but we got a hard issue going on over here. All right. I'm trying to stay alive over here on the live stream. All right. Now let's go back over team 4 in that last draft. Fields, Young, quarterback alike. Running back, CMC, Mixon, Dameon Pierce, Pacheco, Miller, Chuba Hubbard. In general, I'd say if you go that early with running back, I'm probably only going to be taking 5. I'll probably be done after Miller. I think I probably would rather take an extra wide receiver there, just considering the fact it's a tournament-style setup. So you need to be chasing the highest week-to-week ceiling you possibly have, and you have to start 3 wide receivers. So I really like the team in general. I would just say I probably opt to go with either the 8th wide receiver or the 3rd tight end rather than the 6th running back. I do like the team, though. But whenever anybody asks me to look at their team, I always try to come up with how it should be, what I would change rather than just saying I like it. Now, Siraj coming out, thank you, says, thoughts on James Cook this season? Thinking about keeping him for a 9th round pick. Thanks, bud. No, thank you. I mean, he's the starting running back in a phenomenal offense, right? Now, the thing is, the man has a BMI of 27.8, so he's never going to be like a true three-down player. So I don't want to sit here and say like James Cook can be a top 5 running back in fantasy. That's probably not ever going to happen. But at the same time, he can be definitely a top 24 back. I'd probably like him a little bit more in best ball. But yeah, we'll see. Madav coming out again with another donation. Says 10-team PPR Superflex redraft. Have Bijan, Aaron Jones in both their handcuffs. Then Waddle, Christian Watson, Jerry Jeudy, Jamison Williams, Jahan Dotson. Do I trade Jamal Williams for Zay Flowers? I want a wide receiver with upside is my thinking. In general, in a 10-team league, I would probably stray away from just adding in Zay Flowers, the wide receiver that's not going to make a difference until the end of the season. Quick side note, I'm going to go ahead and take Bijan Robinson. I'm unsure if y'all have heard this, but I interviewed him at the NFL draft. I went to the University of Texas, and I ran into him at the gym a couple weeks back. So, we got to take him every chance that we get. But going back to this, and if we trade Jamal Williams for Zay Flowers, I would say specifically in a 10-team format, I'm probably wanting to keep Jamal because I'm very confident in saying that we're going to be able to start Jamal Williams for the first 3 weeks of the season with no Alvin Kamara. And then after that, I think it's probably all up in the air. And I don't know if we're ever going to be able to start Zay Flowers specifically in that format this season. So that's my stance on it, my man. That's my stance. Now, let's see. Reed says, largest sleeper this year. I don't know how we classify largest sleeper. I mean, the guys that I like taking round 18 of underdog drafts that I think have a considerable amount of upside. I like taking Josh Downs. I like taking Trey Lance. Now, those aren't particularly players that you should be taking in your regular redraft leagues. If you're looking at someone to take in your regular redraft league at the very end as a quote-unquote sleeper, but it's going to be higher up draft boards, I really do like Elijah Mitchell because I think if everything goes wrong, you can start Elijah Mitchell and he'll have some touches, but obviously is that premium handcuff back as well. Now, our next one coming up from Solid Jagan, a long-time member of the flock, says ibuprofen and Tylenol are NSAIDs that actually increase your chance of a heart attack or stroke because it constricts the blood. All right. Well, thank God I had not taken these. Imagine we take these. But yeah, thank you, my friend. Thank you. And see some people telling us to check our resting heart rate. I'll look at that in just 1 second. I had that idea as well. We got the Apple Watch on, so you know what we're about. We wore the polar chest strap on a run today. And hell yes, we're going to get Saquon Barkley here. Love starting off Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley through the first 2 rounds. This is something that we covered in the video today on the channel with running back draft strategy. And hell, I'm sticking by it. I think both these guys literally have the possibility of being the running back 1 and running back 2 overall in fantasy this next season. Love the ceiling case and honestly kind of like the floors with these players as well. All right. Let me pull up my heart app and see what our heart rate is. Does anybody want to take a guess on what my usual resting heart rate is? My resting heart rate is higher today than it usually is. Everybody, lock in your guesses. What is my usual resting heart rate? Got some good content in here for y'all today. All right. 110, 54, 52, 65, 41. That's blood pressure, my friend. 104, 65, 65, 64, 72, 65. My usual resting heart rate is anywhere from 42 to 45. Today, it's elevated. Over the past few days, it's been elevated. I've been in the high 40s. Today, I'm 47. But nothing too crazy. All right. Now, no quarterbacks through the first 2 rounds. Yeah, so, I mean, Calvin Ridley now going ahead of Mahomes, going ahead of Hurts, going ahead of Allen. 41 says, Scissors says 41, the same number of states underdog is legal. Oh my gosh, my man, what a coincidence. I did not even notice that. Yeah, I guess there's probably about 41 states that Underdog Fantasy is available in. I don't know about Canadian provinces, but I don't know how many there are. I just know the only one that doesn't have Underdog is Ontario. So if you want to get in a draft with us, hell, you can in all those states. And also, it's where we're drafting every single night on the live stream. Best ball drafts, no time commitment at all during the season. So I drafted 700 teams and won $150,000 last year. And if you sign up to Underdog with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com. And hell, while you're over there, grab your 2023 fantasy football draft guide. But, all right. And I did not do that for Scissors to set us up with the alley-oop, but he set us up, so we had to dunk it. Let's Let's go with the hyper-fragile build, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if we can get this done. Let's go Ramondre Stevenson, 31. Ramondre Stevenson has been falling crazy. Like he has been going 31, 32 in a lot of these drafts. So I'll pick him up. Right now I only have him in 4% of leagues because he used to go at the 2-3 turn. Now if I'm going to get this discount on him, we'll take it. Brian says, whatever Underdog pays you, it ain't enough. I know. Sister says, he Venmo'd me $10 to set him up with the promo. Don't listen to him. I mean, we don't have to say that out loud, my man. We don't have to say that out loud. And now let's see. Gibbs goes 33. So obviously at this point, when we start Bijan, Barkley, Ramondre, here's what we're doing. Please, God, please have these people take running backs. For the love of God, please have them pass on wide receivers, send wide receivers in my direction. Give me Deebo Samuel round 4. Give me Brandon Ayuk round 5. Give me Mike Evans round 6. Give me Gabe Davis round 7. That's what we're doing here at this point. We need some wide receivers, ladies and gentlemen. But Scissors asking how many redraft / dynasty leagues we are in each year. I'm in about 20 dynasty leagues, and I am cutting down my redraft leagues an extreme amount. I've talked about this in the live stream previously, but whenever I stream from 7 a.m. Sunday morning to noon kickoff, it is almost impossible for me to manage that many leagues now with what I have to do for my job today compared to what I could do 3 years ago with live streams in terms of submitting starting lineups if we get breaking news or anything. So, yeah, sadly, not going to be in a ton of redraft leagues this year, but that is why Underdog Fantasy is literally perfect for me. It was like it was made for me, considering the fact that I'm having a live stream for 5 hours Sunday morning, but leading up till kickoff. Yeah. And the 20 dynasty teams is a lot, but Jay and Nash Talks Texas helps us out with the dynasty teams, which I am very, very much appreciative of. Now, we are going to go Christian Watson, right? I mean, we sent up our prayer. It was answered. We had a wide receiver make it back to us. Now, of course, I would have preferred Jerry Jeudy, but it is what it is. Not going to sit here and cry about getting Christian Watson. Still really do like him, right? Still really do. Okay. Now, if you have not done so already, ladies and gentlemen, please go down there, drop a like on this live stream. If we had 600 likes on this draft, we are going to be firing up another draft after this. And one quick side note, I need to start saying this at least once a day in the live streams. But if you are a member of flockfantasy.com, we just launched the tiers feature on our rankings. So you can go and look at my updated top 150 fantasy football rankings now with tiers. Plus, if you're on flockfantasy.com, please go to your account page, put in your Underdog username and hit enter, and it will automatically credit you with $10 in your Underdog account. That's, of course, if you're a paid member to flockfantasy.com. But so everybody go claim your free $10. It doesn't matter if you signed up to Underdog 2 years ago. If you're a paid member to flockfantasy.com, put in your Underdog name, get a free $10 in your account like that. And also, if you're not on flockfantasy.com already, I don't know if you've heard this one before, but promo code FLOCK gets you 30% off and a Mother Flocker subscription, and promo code FLOCK gets yours truly breaking down your fantasy team on a podcast. Now, people asking, why would I not go with the London Bijan Robinson stack? Because I think it's more so a tiebreaker. It's not going to be the end of the world if we don't go in that direction. And I do really like Christian Watson. In a vacuum, I would rather have Christian Watson over Drake London. Okay. Let's see. Tommy knows on the clock. What does he do? I cannot go running back here going 3 running backs in the first 3 rounds. He goes Taylor Jacobs running back, wide receiver Diggs McLaurin. He goes Burrow. Honestly, I was probably going to take Burrow if he made it to us. I think you can make a very strong argument that you want to go Jackson Smith and Jigba for the upside. In a lot of different instances, I would agree with that. However, specifically in this instance, I would say I just need a wide receiver that's going to go out there and draw targets and get me any kind of points right. I mean, my only wide receiver right now is Christian Watson. So I'm actually going to go ahead and take Hollywood Brown. Yes, we're going to take him over JSN. And of course, I'm going to take him over Deontay Johnson. I'm not really taking Deontay in this range. I'd much prefer George Pickens round 7 than Deontay Johnson round 5. Tommy Doe says, I got you on the big screen and I'm drafted on my phone. I tricked myself into thinking I was 42 because you're 42 on the big screen. I'm thinking I'd Watson there, which technically I did. Oh, that's hilarious, my man. That's hilarious. And, yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with us every single night. That's awesome. And it is crazy to think that some people watch this on their TV. I am addicted to YouTube. I watch YouTube from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed. I have YouTube Premium. So I can close out the YouTube app and I still have the audio going in the background, And that's what the majority of YouTube videos are. Pretty much just audio, right? I'm sure a lot of y'all halfway watch this and mainly just listen to it. But I recently started putting YouTube videos on the Roku, on the big TV, as I'm eating lunch. So that's really, really appreciative. All right. George Kittle goes 61. All right. What happens? This team here goes Mike Evans. 0 running backs through the first 6 rounds, giving us giving us the double birds here. We go Michael Pittman. If Pittman doesn't make it, we go Miles Sanders. Steve Jobs says, I'm watching on TV with a friend right now. Okay, I'm going to say this. If you and a buddy are watching me at the same time, it's a little weird, my man. Okay, I'm not. All right. I don't know why. I feel like that's a little weird. What y'all need to do is y'all each separately need to be watching on separate accounts. So it's 2 views instead of 1. All right. I know why you're cheap. Screwing me on this one, my man. Just crushing me. Okay. Now, Miles Sanders off the board at 68. I love the Miles Sanders value. I mean, in general, I think Miles Sanders is a better pick in fantasy drafts this year than Michael Pittman. Now, the issue with that is I drafted Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley, or Ramondre Stevenson through the first 3 rounds. So I have no other option but to go wide receiver here, really, in round 6. Okay. Okay. All right. Cam Akers off the board 71. Robert says, have you had a chance to go back and review the teams you drafted in April, May, June? I will. That will be a funny video if we made that in a video. I will say I'm really excited for y'all to check out the video that we have coming out tomorrow. So please make sure that you actually watch tomorrow's video. Tomorrow's video, I react to the $20,000 winning draft I had last year, but I don't just react to the draft. I react to the video I made right after the draft. So I drafted a $500 team. I made a video the day after the draft ended, going through and recapping the draft, recapping my team and everything, pick by pick. And yeah, it's funny to look back, and it's funny to look at the quote unquote analysis that we had with the team. Now, Tommy Doe says, I never want to draft next to you again. I had Pittman in the queue, although you're forced me to panic picks that I have low to no exposure on. So thank you. Well, I'm in. I don't really like drafting next to you if we could have had Joe Burrow at 55. I mean, maybe you saved us taking Burrow at 54. I think it's great value on Burrow. Knowing myself, I wouldn't have been able to stop myself from taking Burrow at pick 55. But with that being said, probably I needed to go wide receiver there no matter what. So you probably saved us. Okay. Now let's move this over So we are 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers now. Running backs, Bijan, Barkley, Ramadre. Wide receivers, Christian Watson, Hollywood Brown, Michael Pittman. Swift goes 77. I have to go Quentin Johnston. I know a lot of people are going to want Darren Waller here, but at the end of the day, this is like the last wide receiver in this tier before we see a pretty big tier drop. So I'm going to go ahead, take Quentin Johnston. I mean, this is a wide receiver that I really liked as a prospect. This is a wide receiver that, yes, is in a very crowded situation, but is with an elite level quarterback, right? At the very minimum. But Will Smith Sr. coming out with the donation. Thank you. Says, I'm in a redraft keeper ESPN league, 10-player PPR. Should I keep Jefferson in the first or Jacobs with the uncertainty it will cost us a 10th round pick? So essentially a 10th round pick is no cost at all, right? So it's either do I keep Jefferson in the first or do I get Jacobs for free? So the question that you need to ask yourself is, would I rather have Jacobs in a first round pick or Justin Jefferson? Treat it like a trade. Look at the player pool that you have in your keeper league. And I'm assuming because it's a keeper league, obviously you're not going to have access to like Chase, Kupp, Tyreek, those guys in round 1. But instead, maybe your round 1 selections are going to look like Amon-Ra St. Brown, A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Adams, Nick Chubb, Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor. So ask yourself, would I rather have CeeDee Lamb and Josh Jacobs or Justin Jefferson? That's the real question here, my friend. Okay. Trey says, need the ultra rare 4374 build, Mason. Yeah. That's what we're going for. That's what we're going for. All right. Let's swing this back around. Isaiah Pacheco goes, generally, you don't expect Brandon Cooks to make it this far for you. We are going to take Brandon Cooks, pick 90. We are getting some ADP value on him. Hell, he has an ADP of 84. I'm not going to sit here and act like Brandon Cooks saved this draft by any means, but I do think we need a wide receiver. I think Brandon Cooks can give us a couple spike weeks, so let's do it. Let's do it. Now, running back, Bijan, Barkley, Ramadre, wide receiver, Watson, Hollywood, Pittman, Quentin Johnston, Brandon Cooks. I feel like we've caught up at wide receiver, right? I mean, obviously, we're incredibly strong at running back. I feel like we're okay at wide receiver. And we have the exact worst quarterback and running back room. I'm sorry, quarterback and tight end rooms in this entire draft. The exact worst, because we do not have a single quarterback or tight end now through the first 8 rounds. Okay. Let's move this over. But Drunken Robinson coming with a donation. Thank you. Says, is there a position to prioritize in my format? Going to be a 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, double flex league. In a full PPR format like this, I would say in general, we want to be prioritizing wide receiver. If it's going to be a 12-team format, I'm completely fine going wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver out the gate. If you can start up to 5, and in a 12-team league, depth's going to be a little bit harder to find at the end. Because it's a 10-team format, I think it's going to be a little bit less important, and I think you're going to be a little bit more flexible with your draft strategy. I would say the rankings video that we put out yesterday, honestly, those rankings would suit you well in a league like this. But, yeah, I mean, you want to be pushing up wide receivers, the more starting wide receiver slots and the more flex spots you add in. But at the same time, the fewer teams that you have in the league, the more you want to be pushing down wide receivers, if that makes sense. I know it's maybe we're going a little bit overboard, but that's how I view it. Okay. Now, Michael Thomas off the board, 98. Interested to see Tua fall here. Where's the Tyreek team? This is the Tyreek team here. They decided to take Antonio Gibson over Tua, which is very interesting. A.J. Dillon goes, so I'm assuming this team now goes Tua to pair up with Tyreek, which they do at pick 100. What is Bateman falling for? Could practice soon. Oh, great news, Rashad Bateman. Could practice soon. Okay. Evan Ingram 101. I think we go Bateman and lock ourselves into 3 quarterbacks, 3 tight ends. Bateman, we get him at about a 9-pick gap compared to ADP. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not gonna lie to you. Not looking good, right? We sent our prayers to the heavens that we would get some wide receivers falling, which they did. But now we really need some quarterbacks, really need some tight ends. So let's see. This will be a team that looks like we're taking both 3 quarterbacks, 3 tight ends, and God knows what else. All right. Let's move this over. Joshua says, why not Richardson to stack with Pittman? You could make a very strong argument. We should have gone with either Anthony Richardson to stack with Michael Pittman or either Dak Prescott to stack with Brandon Cooks. I think both quarterbacks were 100% in play. I think David Njoku was in play as well. And I think a smart person probably would have taken one of the quarterbacks. But I don't know. Now, ER7 says 8-man league. Who are you picking? Alexis Texas, Mila Kunis, and Ariana Grande. Big fan of Mila Kunis. Ariana Grande, I don't need to get in here too in depth. Let me pull up a picture of Ariana Grande. I was a big That 70s Show fan, so Mila Kunis used to be my girl. I believe we're pronouncing the name correctly. Now, Dak goes, it sucks to be us, right? I mean, it would have been beautiful to have Dak Prescott make it back around. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to take Daniel Jones here. Daniel Jones has rushing upside. We have Saquon Barkley, so we've already made a bet on this New York Giants offense. And Daniel Jones can have some pretty big spike weeks. I mean, we actually got 16th place in Best Ball Mania last season, winning $10,000 with Daniel Jones as the quarterback we used that final week. He dropped like 30-something points for us. Obviously, he has a lot of rushing upside. I mean, Saquon Barkley is involved as a pass catcher, so I do think that Barkley and Daniel Jones stack nicely together. I mean, I am not going to fault you at all if you think that we should have gone Anthony Richardson round 9, Juju Smith-Schuster round 10, or Dak Prescott round 9, Juju Smith-Schuster round 10. If that's what you would have done, honestly, it could have been the right thing. I don't know. We maybe made a mistake. I think it's kind of neutral, and when it's kind of neutral, I'm just going to take the ADP value and use the excuse that it's a unique build. Okay. Now, Devon A-Chain off the board 119. Greg Dulcich goes. Okay, Cousins actually still available. What's interesting is this is the Jefferson team up, right? Does the Jefferson team end up passing on Justin Jefferson? I'm sorry, Kirk Cousins. Yeah, no, they take Kirk Cousins to pair up with Jefferson. Okay, I was going to be really interested to see how far Cousins would have fallen if they passed on him. Joshua says, I think I would have done both Richardson and Daniel. That is honestly probably the correct answer. Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones was probably the correct answer for this team. That way we would have only had to take 2 quarterbacks. Both of them would have had rushing upside. But it is what it is. You live and you learn, ladies and gentlemen. You live and you learn. Okay, so wide receivers that work with the rest of this team include Kyler Murray. I'm sorry, quarterbacks that work with the rest of the team include Kyler Murray, possibly Mac Jones, but Nico coming out of the donation. Thank you. Says, just came across your channel this week, man. Already downloaded Underdog and user code. Free $100 came in clutch. Thanks, brother. No, thank you so much, my man. Hill or Cup at pick 4, my 12-team PPR redraft league, 3 wide receivers and a flex. Personally, I was going Tyreek Hill before Cooper Kupp's hamstring injury because if you looked at Las Vegas win totals, right now they actually have, I mean, the Los Angeles Rams only at 6.5 wins. Las Vegas sportsbooks are telling us that the Rams are probably going to be pretty bad this next season. You're not getting a Rams bounce back. So I think you have that concern. Also, Cup's 30. Now with the hamstring injury, I think it's almost a no-brainer to go Tyreek Hill, at least in my mind. Of course, if you look like ADP on ESPN or whatever, most people are deciding to go ahead and take Cup. So I could be wrong, but I mean, if you look at Tyreek Hill, he averaged 109 receiving yards per game with Tua this past season. But yeah, welcome to the flock, my man. Thank you so much for joining. And Silver Yoshi says 45 more likes for another draft. Yes, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop that like, and we'll fire up another draft after this one, ladies and gentlemen. We've already been live streaming for an hour. This live stream's gone by fast. Literally feels like I just started this stream. Okay, Russ goes 128, Rodgers 130. Dan Sky, long time member of the flock, coming out with a massive dono. Thank you, says, it's very rare to find Daniel Jones quarterback rushing numbers so far into a draft. Love him late compared to the others in that spot. Loving the streams every day, just like last year. Thanks for all the work you put in. Now, thank you so much for all the support over the years, my man. Really, really do appreciate you as always. Thank you. Now, and to emphasize your point here, if you look at quarterback rushing props, right now, Daniel Jones is at 575.5 rushing yards. This is more rushing yardage than almost anybody not named Justin Fields. Justin Fields is at 875. Lamar's at 850, but they're in the same ballpark. Like Daniel Jones at like 675, almost 700 rushing yards. They have Daniel Jones 50 rushing yards off of Jalen Hurts. So, yeah. Now, Jared Goff goes 135. Rashee Rice off the board. Quarterbacks aren't really in play for us here, right? But Brian says it's the heart palpitation speeding up. That's exactly what it is. That's what it is. Jamal Williams goes. I think we want to be taking tight ends over the next few rounds if we can. If we take Van Jefferson, we can go Stafford later on. Or let's go take Bigsby and let's be done drafting running backs. We're going to go take Bigsby and we're going to go with the hyper fragile build where we are not going to take another running back through the rest of this draft. I don't know what the right answer is there. Maybe we should have gone tight ends. I don't know. Okay. Now, Thielen, the year 2 tight end in Tennessee, and Van Jefferson all off the board at this point. I'm trying to think. Obviously, we have a 3 tight end build. Honestly, I'm probably still going to go 3 quarterbacks as well, even though we grabbed Daniel Jones, someone I do really like here. ER7 says, careful might be the sparkling water. I'm not going to lie. I tried some new sparkling waters today. I tried this one, the Spindrift, and the San Pellegrino had like flavored sparkling waters. It literally just tasted like a seltzer. It tasted like a White Claw, but obviously it was just sparkling water. And I had a thought that it could be like whatever chemicals were in there. I'm not worried about the Spindrift because these ingredients are just carbonated water, cherry puree, lime juice, lemon juice, hibiscus. It has like no quote unquote natural flavoring or whatever, but the San Pellegrino probably has just a bunch of crap in it. Chemicals in it. I don't know. Now, Lemmy Squanch says, is the Underdog code only for new users? Yeah, you can't use the promo code FLOCK on Underdog if you are not a new member to Underdog Fantasy, but you can go to flockfantasy.com and you can put your Underdog username in your account page and get an extra $10 added onto your account. But of course, that's if you're a paid member to flockfantasy.com. Now, let's see. Kyler goes 149. Kyler Murray was someone that we were looking at here. Sad to see we don't get him. Algier off the board. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take Tyler Higbee. I mean, we definitely need a tight end, right? We have a total of 0 tight ends through this draft. Maybe if we knew we were going to get Higbee here, instead of going Tank Bigsby, we go Van Jefferson in the last round to set ourselves up with a Matthew Stafford double stack. But yeah, let's go Higbee. I honestly am very excited about getting Higbee here, and I feel like we're very lucky to get Tyler Higbee at this price point as well. Tommy says, Mason, I know the Spindrift guys do want to. If you know someone at a sparkling water company, specifically Spindrift, send this to them. Send this to them. Watch this. Watch this. Spindrift is my favorite sparkling water company. It's better than all the other ones, and I drink this every day, and it's not causing my heart pain. All right. I think that's probably the best advertisement they're going to get, right? Send that over to your connects, my man, and get back to me. Let me know what they say. All right. Now let's move this down. Couple wide receivers going. Honestly, at this point, I don't necessarily think we need wide receiver. I mean, obviously, we're going to take another one, right? But it's not like I'm dying to have wide receivers make it to us. We're sitting with Watson, Hollywood, Pittman, Johnston, Cooks, Bateman, and Dobbs. Tommy says, I will let them know. Thank you, my man. Thank you. I wasn't joking about that either. If you have connects with Spindrift, maybe don't send them that one. Don't send them that one, but I would be very interested. If we get a sparkling white, throw a logo of a sparkling water thing behind us, would be better than that. Okay, so here's the thought process, right? We set ourselves up with the Jordan Love double stack by taking both Christian Watson as well as Romeo Dobbs. We could take Stafford here with Tyler Higbee and then hope that Jordan Love makes it to us on the way back around. In reality, I'm not going to roll the dice. We're just going to take Jordan Love. We have both these wide receivers. And I think if we would have taken Van Jefferson earlier on, maybe at that point we go ahead and we take Matthew Stafford, but I don't know. ER says pure talent. If you do a 24-hour live stream, can you do a 10-minute stand-up comedy special? If we hit 200,000 subscribers on the channel before the season starts and I do the 24-hour live stream, I will do not a 10-minute stand-up comedy special for y'all. 10 minutes is a lot of time. But I will do a 5-minute stand-up comedy special for y'all. All right. Now, just a heads up. I've never done stand-up comedy before. So I will be horrendous at it. And yes, in that 24-hour live stream, I will shotgun sparkling waters. I will do that as well. But you got to get us to 200,000 subscribers before the season starts, ladies and gentlemen. That's on you. Make sure you're dropping likes on these live streams and videos if y'all want us to hit 200K. Now, honestly, good thing we go Love, right? Because right after we take Love, Pickett, Purdy, Stafford all off the board. So, I mean, I think that we probably would have been sniped on Jordan Love there. Let's move this back around. We are looking at tight ends if we can get one. Alex says, I still want to flock crypto coin. Yes, and in that 24-hour live stream, I will create a fake flock cryptocurrency, and I will own 99% of it, and I'll sell and dump on y'all. That's what I will do. All right, Curtis Samuel off 172. I think we're going to be looking at tight ends here. Bryce Young doesn't make a lot of sense. We don't have any Panthers. Quarterbacks, who could we take later on? Maybe we go Bryce Young and then get Hayden Hurst later. So who else would I want at quarterback, right? Let's do it. I mean, hell, I interviewed the man at the NFL drafts. Want to root for him. It'd be really cool if you want us a decent amount of money. Obviously, rookie quarterbacks generally aren't good year one, but you never know. Maybe someone can break that trend. And Bryce Young, pick 175 right after John Mechie. Feel like it's a decent price point to figure it out. Okay. Let's move this down. Jackson says, don't sleep on the Jordan Love rushing potential. He's similar to Mahomes in his scrambling ability. Let me pull up the Underdog player props, what they have with Jordan Love. They have Jordan Love at... They don't even have a Jordan Love rushing player prop. They met 21.5 passing touchdowns, 3,300 passing yards, and 13.5 interceptions. Right now, I believe the Green Bay Packers are projected by Las Vegas sportsbooks to be the worst team in the division. And we're going to be firing up another draft after this one, ladies and gentlemen. I'm probably going to make our selection here, and then we're going to bounce to our next draft. Devontae Parker, 184. Rex says 13.5 interceptions. It seems high. Honestly, I don't mind taking the fewer than line on some interceptions. So what happens if he misses what happens if he's so bad he has 8 interceptions in the first 3 weeks? They yank him and he doesn't start again. You still hit it. You still hit it, you know? How many players do y'all think had 14 interceptions or more last year? Let me look this up. 2022 NFL interception leaders. Here we're gonna... We're to take Hayden Hurst. All these tight ends are about the same. It is what it is. Alex says 8 quarterbacks did. Let me see. Let's see. I don't need to see the defensive guys. What are we doing here? Let's go QB. What the hell? Yeah, barely anybody had over 14 interceptions last season. The only guys were Dak, Mills, Cousins, Carr, Allen. And that's it. You had 5 guys. You had 5 quarterbacks with more than 14 interceptions last year. Is Jordan Love a top 5 quarterback in interceptions this next season? I don't think so. I think I'm actually going to add that to one of our favorites. I think I'm going to add the fewer than 13.5 interceptions. Do they have him projected for more interceptions than anybody else? They have Allen at 13.5 interceptions. Yeah, they have Jordan Love, CJ Stroud at 13.5. Unless I'm looking at wrong data here, you only had 5 quarterbacks last season having 14 or more. Okay. So let's see what happens here. 20 says Matt Ryan definitely had to be on there. Matt Ryan had 13 interceptions. The thing is, Matt Ryan's so bad, right? You play 12 games, you don't play anymore. You can only have 12 interceptions. So if he's that bad, how quick does Jordan Love get yanked? Okay. Now, people are taking... You know what? Let's bounce to the next draft. People are taking... This is what happens when you get to round 17, round 18. The drafts just get so damn slow. I'll let y'all know who we take, right? Let's go ahead and let's hop in another Hound Dog draft. It's going to be the $10 buy-in, $400,000 prize pool on Underdog. Let's get in this bad boy. It fills immediately. And hopefully we have a different pick. I mean, we've been picking in the middle of these drafts a ton lately. We're at the 109, a little bit different, right? And surprise, surprise, we are right next to Tommy Nose, going up against them yet again. You love to see it. You love to see it. But of course, real quick side note, if somehow you don't know what we're doing here, you must be living under a rock. You must have not heard me say it a million times by now. We are drafting on Underdog Fantasy. These are best ball drafts, so no time commitment at all during the season. That's how I drafted 700 teams and won $150,000 last year. And if you sign up to Underdog with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com, where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. And on top of it, you can check out all the player props that they have on Underdog. My favorite is Jamar Chase plus 25 receiving yards versus Devontae Adams. But in that other draft, we're going to go ahead and take Tyler Conklin as our third tight ends. And we're going to get one more wide receiver or running back. But now we are off. But Primetime says, Mason, if you had to choose between entering to twice of a $75 contest or adding to my Best Ball Mania drafts and getting to 50 entries, which would you choose? In general, what I always tell people on Underdog is at the end of the day, these Underdog drafts are for fun, right? And in my mind, they are a crap ton of fun. But if you're going to say spend $75 in a draft, would I rather, if you only have $75 spend on a draft on Underdog, obviously Underdog sponsors me, I can spend way more than that. So I'm a little bit different. But if you only have $75 spend in a draft, I would highly recommend to stretch that out into as many drafts as possible. The last thing I would do if I only had $75 for a draft, for my Underdog budget of the year, or whatever you wanted, or say if you had $30 for your Underdog budget, right? The last thing I would do is go enter in a $30 draft. I would do the $3 drafts and stretch it out. The $5 drafts, stretch it out. And in this case, Best Ball Mania, and stretch that out, my man. We're going to go ahead. We are going to take Bijan Robinson at pick 9. Not going to think about that one too much. And we are slowly but surely increasing our Bijan Robinson exposure, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to, one of these days, have him as our most drafted running backs. Let me see how many drafts I have him in now. I'm probably still underweight because earlier in the offseason, I just wasn't taking him where he was going. If y'all remember, he used to go like way ahead of Eckler. Now I have Bijan Robinson at 8%, so I'm officially average on Bijan Robinson. Okay. Escape from Zombie Island says, don't tell anyone, but Mason is AI. I am AI. And if any investors out there want to invest into Flock Fantasy's cutting edge AI technology that we currently are operating with, you know where to find me. Hit my line. Our operating technology is named Mason Dodd. Okay, and that other draft, we just took Josh Downs as our 8th wide receiver. And we are actually raising money right now. If anybody wants to invest into Flock Fantasy, the last I checked, our current evaluation was $3 billion. I'm going to get you all a promo code. You know I'm the king of promo codes, though. So I'll probably get you... I'll give you an extra stock for everyone that you purchase, right? So essentially, the evaluation will be $1.5 billion for y'all. Yeah. But with this AI technology at the helm, come on, talk about a steal. Talk about a steal. Okay. Now, we're going to start this draft off the same way that we did in the last one. We're going to go Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley. Y'all know in general, I like taking these guys. All right. Hopefully this one, we don't end up with Ramondre Stevenson again in round 3. We'll see. We'll see. But I'm assuming that we won't. I'm assuming. Brian says, looking to be $4 billion after that spin draft. Exactly. I don't know if y'all heard. Word on the street is we have a sparkling water sponsorship coming up soon. So you want to get in on Flock Fantasy on the ground floor only at a $3 billion evaluation before that advertisement deal is done. Because we know minimum that advertisement deal is going to be $1 billion. Minimum. Now, Burrow goes 26. Dear God. Joe Burrow going before Josh Allen here. Now, this is where stacking goes wrong, right? And we've talked about this time and time again. I talked about this earlier in the offseason where Joe Burrow used to go at the beginning of the 3rd. But the reasoning why you never want to take Joe Burrow here just to get your stack with Jamar Chase is even if Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow end up being the wide receiver 1 overall and the quarterback 1 overall this next year, and there are massive hits in fantasy, in an overall tournament like this, you're going to be going up against other teams that took Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, but they did it at a cheaper cost. Instead of going in round 3, they got Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, and they got Joe Burrow at pick 50 instead of 26. So there you're going to be getting outgunned, you're going to be getting outkicked, and it's going to be very difficult to make it work. And yeah, now you see Mahomes and Allen go back to back. Draft gets weird draft here, ladies and gentlemen. Burrow goes pick 26, Mahomes and Allen 21, 28 to the same team. So once we see that, actually, I'm not going to do it. I was going to say I wanted to go ahead and take Lamar Jackson, but if DK Metcalf makes it to us to 33 and we have no wide receivers through the first 2 rounds, we probably have to go ahead and take the falling value with DK Metcalf here. Have that a little bit of a unique build where not many people are going to get DK Metcalf at that price point. So let's go Metcalf. And if we get Lamar on the way back round, I'll be pumped, ladies and gentlemen. And I mean pumped. Okay, Lamar goes 35. Not faulting that team at all for taking Lamar Jackson there. Nathan says, does that mean reaching on your stacks in your standard redraft league is more viable? Yeah, obviously, if it's not an overall tournament, you're okay to reach on your stacks. I definitely want to be reaching this much for them, though, right? Like, whenever we go through and show that historical data that you want to be stacking, that you want to be going after those guys and making correlated bets, if you get rid of all upside by reaching around on every single player just to complete a stack, in reality, I mean, I don't know if you're getting an actual edge. Okay, Deebo Samuel goes, so we're going to get either Keenan Allen or Jerry Jeudy. I know Keenan Allen, a little bit more of a unique selection. I think a lot of people would make the argument, well, Mason, you have to go Allen, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to take Jerry Jeudy, right? I mean, with the Tim Patrick injury, I think Jerry Jeudy is going to be an easy selection here. I'm not a big Keenan Allen guy. I mean, the guy was drafted back in 2013. They just added in a round 1 wide receiver in Quentin Johnston. So I'd rather go Jerry Jeudy pick 40 than Keenan Allen, but I'd say a smart person probably goes ahead and takes Keenan Allen, but I'm not smart, so we'll take Jeudy. And move this over. Najee Harris off the board at 43. You know what's crazy? I just saw an Underdog tweet. They have this player prop out with Josh Jacobs. They have Josh Jacobs more than less than half a receiving touchdown, which I'm sure a lot of people are going to run to take the more than side. But Josh Jacobs has never had a receiving touchdown in the NFL. How crazy is that? Seems wild. Okay, DJ Moore goes 46. I really like our team through the first 4 rounds. Going to be interested to see what that team there at 4 does. That decided to go Mahomes, Allen together. The team that went Burrow 26 takes Aaron Jones 47. Amit says, apologies if I missed you discuss this previously, but does Kenyon Drake have any value? Was there Kenyon Drake news today? Did I miss something with what the hell's going on with Kenyon Drake? Kenyon Drake. Oh, he went to the Colts. How old is the man? Let me try to figure this out. Kenyon Drake age. He's only 29. Let's look at the last time he was good in fantasy. Last time he was anything was 2020. He had 239 carries in that season. Last season, I don't even remember Kenyon Drake being viable last year. Last year, he averaged 40 rushing yards per game. I think you could actually maybe mix in Kenyon Drake a little bit in round 18 if you wanted to. How crazy is it that Kenyon Drake is getting signed and freaking Kareem Hunt and Leonard Fournette are still out there? Zeke Elliott's still out there. Dalvin Cook's still out there. Okay. Let's move this back around. Just surprised to see that. All right, I've noticed Mike Williams falling a considerable amount in these drafts. Williams goes 54. I'm assuming this team goes Herbert. Yeah, they do go Herbert. Let's see where Tommy Nose takes it. He goes JSN. Hell yes. He's going to let us get Kenneth Walker. Oh, my man. I did not expect you to let us get Kenneth Walker. I thought you were going to go Walker, but thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we're going to go Kenneth Walker here, 57. Sounds like Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet are good to go. Sounds like you don't really have to be worried about their injuries. Yeah, I'm excited about that pick. And yeah, that team that went Mahomes and Allen together, right now this is their roster. Kelsey Hawkinson at tight end, quarterback Mahomes and Allen, and wide receiver Drake London. I like getting unique on Underdog. I really do, right? I really like building unique teams on Underdog, especially in overall tournaments, blah, blah, blah. But I've seen a lot of people do this. I've seen people think that they can get away with going both bully quarterback and bully tight end. I will tell you, maybe bully quarterback will work. Maybe bully tight end will work. But both of them together have almost no chance to work. That person just punted their buy-in into the league pot. And really, I don't see the upside there. Okay. Now, J. Cole on the clock. They go Hollywood. Do we just go full-blown Seattle Seahawks onslaught? We take Tyler Lockett here? Yeah, so now at this point, we have Bijan, Barkley, Walker running back. Wide receiver, we have Metcalf, Jeudy, Lockett. And I guess we are just making the biggest bet ever that the Seattle Seahawks end up being good. But, I mean, Geno Smith, I'm coming for you. Maybe that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, hell, Geno Smith turns out to be freaking, I don't want to say Mahomes, but even if he's just, I guess, I don't want to say Burrow. If Geno Smith turns into Joe Burrow, hell, we win $50,000, right? Geno Smith turns into Joe Burrow, we win 50,000. Dear God. That's how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Stackbot back up on the clock. Let's see if they go Goddard or Darren Waller here. I mean, they only have Kelsey and Hawkinson at tight end. They go Acre 69. I don't think they're on auto. I mean, their T.J. Hawkinson selection was made before their time ran out. I know that for damn sure. I didn't see the other picks. I know Hawkinson went off before their time ran out. Okay. Addison 71. Okay, let's swing this back around. I think there are a couple different thoughts we have here. Stackbot, if they are on, I mean, they need to take Gabe Davis no matter what, right? They have Josh Allen. Gabe Davis makes it 5 picks past ADP. Makes so much sense for them to take Davis here. And I'm saying this is someone who would love Gabe Davis to fall to him later on. But if it goes all the way down to the end, I'm assuming, yeah, it looks like they're just on auto through the rest of this. Now, that will change my strategy a bit. It will. This team, similar to us, 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers. They go Quentin Johnston, pick 77. Okay. The leeway goes Watson. Deshaun Watson was my plan at 81. All right, looks like we have to pivot, ladies and gentlemen. We are no longer able to get Watson. Yeah, my plan was, okay, if that team has Mahomes and Allen, we possibly have to be worried about them auto-drafting another quarterback and really wrecking this entire draft room. So I thought we possibly... take Watson, set ourselves up, Elijah Moore on the way back around, and then David Njoku round 9. But yeah, here we'll go ahead and we will take George Pickens. I've said this before. I'll say it again. I definitely prefer George Pickens round 7 in comparison to Deontay Johnson, who has an ADP of 55. Like, Deontay Johnson, ADP 55, or George Pickens, pick 81. Give me George Pickens. Okay. Tommy Nose says, it killed me not to take Pickens at that value. That's what happens when you go hero RB. Tommy Nose, if y'all don't know, George Pickens is his guy. He takes Pickens in almost every single draft. I think you could have gotten away with taking Pickens there if you wanted, my man. I think you could have gotten Pickens and then just slammed running backs after. I was going to lose my mind if Jahan Dotson made it to us. I was going to say, oh my gosh, this is the most unique team we've ever seen. We're going to go Brandon Cooks. I'll explain myself later, ladies and gentlemen. Go Cooks. I'll explain myself later. Rec asking, Tommy, what's your Pickens exposure? Good question, because Tommy takes Pickens in almost every single draft. He goes James Cook, 89. I like Cook there if you need a running back. Okay. Burks pick 90. Fine with that price point on Treylon Burks if you want him there. Okay. Robert says, bro's trying to get Dak. You don't have to explain. All right. Way to out us, my man. Way to out us on that one. There's maybe 1% of the people watching this live stream that didn't know we were going for Dak Prescott now, 105. But yeah, if y'all don't know now, the plan's Dak 105, Geno 112. And that team at 4 looks like they are no longer on auto. It looks like they take Sky Moore there. So now I guess we have to be a little bit less concerned about them, say, auto drafting a quarterback, right? Thomas, 95. Bateman goes. Where did Sutton go? People are taking Thomas over Sutton, even with the Patrick injury. You'll know I'm not a Thomas guy. I just think that Tim Patrick goes down, you have to push Cortland Sutton ahead of Michael Thomas. Dylan, Zach Charbonnet off the board. Obviously, we cannot take another Seattle Seahawks not named Geno Smith in this draft. So, yeah, good for us to see Charbonnet go. Now, Tommy No says 42% in about 200 drafts for George Pickens. Dear God, my man. Well, I'm rooting for you. If y'all don't know, we had an infamous member of the flock 2 years ago. Spack. His name was Spack. In every single draft, he would go Antonio Gibson, J.K. Dobbins. Like round 1 and round 2. Something crazy. Maybe it was a different running back. It was like 2 of those guys. And, oh my gosh, it crashed and burned. Like Dobbins went down for the year and he had like 70% J.K. Dobbins. And he was in like every single draft with us. Now, Dak goes, so we are unable to get Dak Prescott. So we'll take Jameson Williams and set ourselves up with the ability to go Jared Goff later on. But I guess we could have gone Pat Frymuth as well and set ourselves up with a double stack of Pickens, Frymuth, Pickett. Not a big deal one way or another. I haven't taken a lot of Jameson, but I definitely think Jameson's better here in these tournaments that don't have a regular season component to them. You're going to be a little less excited about Jameson Williams in Best Ball Mania, considering that you also want to be live for some of the regular season prizes, which taking Jameson obviously would not optimize you for. Gerardo says, can you explain the Brandon Cooks pick? The Brandon Cooks pick was to set ourselves up taking Dak Prescott later on. That's what we were hoping for. Now, we could always play the game, oh, let's see if Geno Smith will make it back. We can't do it, all right? It's not like we're reaching that much on Geno. We're reaching 3 picks. Now, if there was a possibility of us going Pat Frymuth and then Geno Smith on the way back around, trust me, I would love to do so. But Tommy knows right after us, took JSN, so the possibility that he would pass on Geno Smith twice would be pretty damn slim, especially if you looked at pick 128, right? Like if he was at pick 128, Geno Smith had fallen like, what, 13 picks past ADP. He had JSN and only Anthony Richardson at quarterback. Tommy knows the most likely would have sniped us on Geno, so I don't want to try to get cute. We have Lockett. We have Metcalf. We have Kenneth Walker. The only way our team is any good and the only way our team is live to possibly win $50,000 is if the Seattle Seahawks is a top 3 offense in the NFL this next season. We kind of need Geno Smith if that's going to happen. Okay. Now, Juju goes Allen Lazard off the board as well. Yeah, I'm sure Tommy knows super happy to be getting Frymuth there, 113. Tommy knows likes Frymuth a decent amount as well. I just realized I forgot to drop a like on this video. Let me pull up my phone and hit that like button. And of course, if you have not hit that like button yet, make sure you go down there, drop a like on this live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe to the channel as well. I'm drafting literally every single night on these live streams. Not going to miss a single day until 2024. And of course, if you want to get into a draft with us, these are best ball drafts on Underdog. So I drafted 700 teams and won $150,000 last season. And if you sign up to Underdog with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you're going to get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com. And that's where we have our draft guide. So you can go check out our draft guide as well. Underdog's available in these states. And Underdog also has player props if y'all wanted to go look at those. But let's move this back around. So we have some quarterbacks going. Daniel Jones makes it a 118. Kirk Cousins goes 120. But Dat Ratchet coming out says, hey, Mason, thanks for all you do for us, brother. Appreciate your hard work and effort. I'm in a 14-team league at pick 10. Should I go wide receiver, running back, wide receiver, running back, or running back, wide receiver? I would say in general, if you're in that 14-team format, the running backs that you're going to have available to you later on in the draft are going to be slim pickings So if you only start 2 wide receivers and 1 to 2 flex spots, I'm not going to mind at all if you want to go running back out the gate. Now, obviously, it's going to be dependent on the running backs that you have access to, and it's going to be dependent overall on just what the rest of your league does. But if you're able to somehow start off like, say, Saquon Barkley and then get Nick Chubb in the second round, or say go Saquon Barkley and even maybe a Tony Pollard, or Bijan Robinson, Tony Pollard, Nick Chubb, Pollard. If we can go running back and set ourselves up with the ability to go wide receiver in the middle rounds, in a 14-team league, running back's just inherently going to be harder to come by. So I don't mind that thought process, my friend. Okay, let's swing this back around. I think we could set ourselves up with a potential Russ double stack if we wanted here. Feels like Dobbs is always falling in these drafts. I think I have a decent amount of Dobbs. Yeah, Tommy Knows has 2 tight ends, so he can't take tight end. We're going to go Greg Dulcich, and then we pair him up with Jerry Jeudy. So we can either take Russell Wilson on the way back around for the Jeudy Dulcich double stack, or we can take Jared Goff on the way back around for the Jared Goff Jameson Williams stack. So Goff goes. So now he's no longer an option. But like I said, this is why we take the tight end here. That way we can set ourselves up with the stack no matter what. Zay Jones 131. Chief says, is George Pickens related to Slim Pickens? Yes. George Pickens is actually cousins with Slim Pickens on the mom side. Okay. Let's see. Rashee Rice goes 133. Rondale Moore. So this is the team we have to get past when we have Russ. They go Kyler Murray. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Russell Wilson. We'll have our 2 quarterbacks here. Geno Smith and Russ. I guess it's just an all Seattle team, right? We got the old and the new. Now, I saw Vadim ask how the team at 4 was doing. Yeah, so that team at 4 started off Kelsey Hawkinson at tight end. Quarterback, Mahomes and Allen. At wide receiver now, they're currently sitting with London, Gabe Davis, Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney. Pretty much best case scenario for them to get Gabe Davis, Sky Moore, and Kadarius Toney all past ADP, right? So they set themselves up with stacks with both their quarterback options. Running back, they have Akers, Samaje Perine, as well as Damian Harris. Like I said, I could see a bully quarterback strategy possibly working this year. I could see a bully tight end strategy possibly working this year. I just can't see both working, if that makes sense. I'd see one or the other. Mason says, PP poo poo. Love it. Tommy Knows says, my home league team name is the real Slim Pickens. Love to see. That's funny, my man. Now, Miller goes 142. We're definitely looking at running backs, right? I mean, we do have fine RBs. Our running backs are Bijan, Barkley, Walker. We're only going to have to draft 5. But yeah, we are looking for 2 more running backs in this draft. And dear God, they just took their 3rd tight end. Okay, yeah, if they take their 3rd tight end when they already have Kelsey and Hawkinson, it's confirmed they just have no idea what's going on. I mean, I could possibly buy the story that they're just trying to be super unique with the first 4 picks or whatever. But once you take the 3rd tight end, it's just, yeah, they're completely lost. MVS 148. Yeah, that team actually, maybe if they wanted to have taken Dalton Schultz there, if they go like running back or wide receiver, I don't want to say it would have been a good team, but it would have been a very fun team. Very fun team. Been a very fun weekly winners team. Okay, DJ Chark off 149. Carr 150. Marvin Mims goes, what's the news on Mingo? I don't see anything. I'm actually not going to take Mingo. I'm just going to make sure we can grab a tight end while they're still here, right? I mean, if that other team went Kelsey, Hawkinson, and Dalton Schultz, we possibly need to be worried about getting tight ends, period. But Cody out here in the one spot. Let's go ahead. Let's check out Cody's team after this. Jackson says, news on Jonathan Mingo is that you'd rather have Terrace Marshall. I mean, y'all know I've been the leader of Jonathan Mingo's overrated. That hype, that train, whatever you want to call it. Sean says, thoughts of the team at 5. So let's check out the teams at 1 and 5. 1 and 5 after this. Remind me if I forget, please. Okay. Here's how we're looking at it. We're going to go either a running back or tight ends. I'm going to go Irv Smith Jr. over Taysom Hill. Not a big Taysom guy. Yeah, DeForman goes 158. Irv Smith Jr. off the board. So we'll go ahead. We'll take Devin Singletary here as our 4th RB. Not going to cry about that at all. So first, let's check out that team at 1 coming out from Cody. Jefferson, Smith, Hurts through the first 2 rounds. Pretty much best case scenario. Hopkins, Madison. I don't know if I love the Madison pick, but you can say it's a pretty unique selection. If Madison generally goes at the 5-6 turn. Personally, if I'm going to go running back here, I'd probably prefer going Kenneth Walker, but that's just me. Dallas Goedert pick 72 to pair up with Jalen Hurts and get the double stack. I mean, DeAndre Swift as well, 73. As long as we didn't take any more Philadelphia Eagles, I'm fine with it. In general, I don't love having 4 of our first 7 picks from one offense. Now, of course, if you're going to do so, you do want it from the best offense in the NFL, which could easily be the Philadelphia Eagles. Then we have Bateman, Dillon, Cousins, Elijah Mitchell. Yeah, I really like this team. I would say really the only thing I'd say is maybe the Madison pick pivot to Kenneth Walker, at least in my mind. Or honestly, I would have really liked a Mike Williams pick. If you go Mike Williams there, and then instead of taking Rashad Bateman pick 96, go with like a running back and maybe a tight end. I do like the team, though. Just in general, when I look at teams, I always just try to think, what would I do differently and see if it can help at all. But Sean, let's check out his team here at 5. CMC, Waddle out the gate. Definitely a unique build. Ramadre, 29. Mixon, 44. Brandon Ayuk, 53. Personally, I think when you're looking at this, there are going to be a lot of teams that are able to grab Brandon Ayuk in this range, and very few teams that can get Mike Williams at this pick. So I think based from a unique perspective in the overall tournament, you have to go Mike Williams over Ayuk. Mike Evans, 68, really like. Quentin Johnston, 77. Tua, 92 to pair up with Waddle. Evan Ingram, 101. Lazard, Devon Achane, Van Jefferson, Chark. Brock Purdy to pair up with Ayuk. I like the team I'm in. The only thing I'd say is I really think if you get the opportunity to take Mike Williams at such a strong value, you probably have to pull the trigger. But Julian says, hey, can you rate my second best ball draft? We have Lamar, Goff, Bijan, Swift, Gibson, Devontae, Hollywood, Addison, Jameson, Andrews. Okay, so we have the Lamar Andrews stack with Devontae Adams, Bijan Robinson. That's all that freaking matters. If you have Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews stack with Bijan Adams as your first and second round selections, is better than any team that I drafted on the live stream today. I'm not a big Deontay guy, but if you are, who the hell cares? I'm wrong all the time. I really like that team, my man. Specifically getting that kind of value. Now let's swing this back around. I think we can still go tight end here. And there's a team behind us that only has 1. So I'm going to lock in Dawson Knox here at pick 177. I don't want to think about this one too much. He's in an elite level offense, right? I mean, we're just going to take it where we can now. Afterwards, I don't exactly know what we're looking to do. We're definitely looking to get one more running back, right? And I guess we're looking at minimum to grab one more wide receiver. I think it's that last spot that we don't really know what we want to do. Probably 2 more wide receivers from here. And 1 more running back and 2 more receivers. But regardless, we know for a damn fact we need 1 more RB and 1 more wide receiver. What's the news on Paris Campbell? Back at practice. Okay, good. Curtis Samuel goes 182. Sean Tucker off the board. Dear God, that's surprising. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take Isaiah Hodgins here. I mean, speaking of unique picks, he has an AP 168. We're getting him at 184. And in general, I mean, we are trying to go ahead and just make life easy for us. I know for a fact we need at least one more wide receiver. So instead of trying to go to a position where we don't know if we actually need it or not, just take the guy that we know we actually need. So running back, Bijan, Barkley, Walker, Singletary. Wide receiver, Metcalf, Jeudy, Lockett, Pickens, Cooks, Jameson, and Isaiah Hodgins. Quarterback, we have Geno. We have a full-blown Seattle Seahawks onslaught of Metcalf, Kenneth Walker, Tyler Lockett, Geno Smith. We have Russ with double stacked with Jerry Jeudy, Greg Dulcich. And tight end, we have Greg, Everett, and Knox. Jackson says, gotta love seeing Justin Ross's ADP skyrocket. I have not drafted Justin Ross a single time. If Justin Ross makes the team and is an every down player for the Chiefs, I am probably losing money this season. Full transparency. Now, of course, the question is, does Justin Ross make the roster? Okay. Now, after we go Hodgins, you'd have a run on wide receivers. It's pretty much going to happen no matter what we did, right? Yes, and the team at 4 has not grabbed a 4th tight end yet, so I don't know if they checked out or what's going on here. All right, let's move this back around. We know we need another running back. It's that last spot that I think we have some flexibility, and I don't know exactly what we want to do. Honestly, if we waited till Geno and Russ, I think maybe we can get away with the 3rd QB. Probably not, but we'll see. We'll see. Disbanded Brother says, I think you got my sister pregnant. I can neither confirm nor deny, my friend. Legally speaking, I can neither confirm nor deny. Now, Darius Slayton off the board at 195. I've actually taken some Hunter Renfrow. Let me see how much Renfrow I have. It's not good taking Renfrow. I'll tell you one thing. I mean, Ford's coming out saying he may not make the team. And I have him in 11% of drafts. That is great. I have Hunt in 10% of drafts, but I guess I took him in the $1,000 draft or something because, dear God. Now, McBride, Hayden Hurst, both off the board. Richard James goes 199. Terrace Marshall off. I'm going to take Leonard Fournette. I mean, if we're chasing upside in these overall tournaments, I think Fournette can sign to a handful of different teams and be significantly better than any other player in this range. DNB says Justin Ross was better than Higgins in college. This is true, and Justin Ross was actually younger than T. Higgins at the same time, where he was outproducing him on that Clemson roster. Okay, Jimmy G off the board. If we only had 2 tight ends, I'd be completely fine grabbing the 3rd quarterback here. It's like hard to grab the 3rd quarterback when we took 3 tight ends as well. Josh Downs goes. We'll take Renfrow. It is what it is. If he gets cut, I mean, we're toast. But I think that should be it for this live stream. Again, thank you so much, everybody, coming out and hanging out with us every single day. I mean, y'all know I really, really do appreciate y'all. And as always, I'll be live tomorrow, the day after, 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 the day after. Yeah, and if you want to get in one of these drafts with us, you can on Underdog Fantasy. Link in the live chat, link in the description, link in the comment section. Promo code FLOCK, 100% deposit match up to $100. Also, you can go check out all these player props on Underdog as well. And I think that should be about it. Underdog's available in all these states. But thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. Really, really do appreciate y'all. And really hope I get to see you in the live stream tomorrow.